Hey guys, it's Miss Wall and who? Biscuit! Yay, Biscuit! And we are back for another episode of Art with Miss Wall. Today we're going to learn about printmaking and we're going to make some prints of our own. But first, what is printmaking?
So first, what is printmaking? Printmaking is when you make a copy of something. Is it like a stamp? Yes, a stamp is a print. You can make multiple copies of the same image over and over with a stamp. What about a printer? Yes, it is making a copy of what? What's on the computer screen? That's right. People have made prints for thousands of years. Handprints were found in the caves from long ago. Is a handprint a print? Is it printmaking? Yes, because you're making a copy of your what? Of your hand. But what are some different ways that we can make prints? So this is a woodblock print. It's made by carving into the wood, rolling ink on it, and stamping it on paper. People have been using woodblock prints for a very long time. This one is lithography. So this is when you use a stone. You draw with a certain type of pencil, it's kind of like wax, onto this stone, and you roll ink on it, and then you press it onto paper. This one is plexiglass, also known as dry point. So you carve into the plexiglass, fill all those little carvings in with ink, and then you press it onto paper. This one is styrofoam. Some of y'all probably did this last year with me. So you carve into styrofoam using like a pen or a sharp tool, and then you roll your ink on top, print it on paper. And this one is screen printing. So this is when you have a screen that's like fabric, and they push the paint or ink through the screen using that big wooden squeegee right there. Some prints need a press. What do you think a press does? That's right, it presses the plate, whether it's wood or metal or stone, it presses it onto the paper. Some of these need to be pressed really, really hard. So these are known as printing presses, and they have changed over the years. There's lots of different kinds. But why would people need to make prints? Why do they need a lot of copies? You're right. An artist might want multiple copies so that they can share it or sell it lots of different times. Also, it has been used to create books. If I had to write the same story over and over and over again, it would take a long time. What if I had to draw the same pictures over and over and over again because I wanted lots of different copies of a book? It would take forever. But if I print them, then I can make a lot of copies of the book really fast. We also use it to print what? Money. So we use money to buy things. And so to draw all that money would take a long time. So we can just print it. Let's quickly look at some famous prints. This is a Japanese print, printed from a woodblock by the artist Hokusa. This is a lithograph, which is printed from stone. And this is from the famous artist M.C. Escher. And this print is a screen print from Andy Warhol. He printed lots of things like this.
Whoa, that is a lot of information. Lots of different ways to make printmaking. You can do even more than those. Those are just a couple ways. Today, you're going to make a print, and you can make your print however you want to. So if you want to go and get your hands wet and your feet wet and step on the concrete and make handprints and footprints, you can do that. If you have a mud puddle in your yard and your parents say it's okay, go put your hands in that mud and make some handprints or fingerprints. But today what we're going to do is we are going to make prints with things around our house. So I went around my house and found some different things that might make good shapes. So I found like a little star and a little circle stop sign and a little tree and a foam letter and a thing from Biscuit's doggy toy. And I just found all kinds of things. Forks and Legos, all kinds of stuff. So I got some things that I wanted to print. You need to make sure that these things can get wet because we're going to have to wash them off after we print them. So things that can get wet. So go get that. Then you need something to print with. So you can do ink or paint. I'm just going to use some cheap paint. You can also use markers. But what if I don't have any of those things? I can go in the fridge and get some ketchup and some mustard. Those will work just fine. So go in there and get some ketchup and mustard. Oh, or if you have chocolate syrup, oh, you can print with that too. So go grab those things. You'll also need some paper to print on, of course. So go get some paper if you have some. You can use newspaper, you can use computer paper, whatever you got. You might need a little bucket of water. So I have just a little bucket and some water, and either I have a little sponge, but you don't have to use a sponge. You could just use a paper towel if you want. So go get paper towel, water bucket, paper, the things that you want to print, and some kind of medium like a marker or paint or chocolate syrup, and then come back. Okay. All right, guys. So the first thing I'm going to do is just practice, because I don't really know what's working right now and what's not going to work. So I don't want to put that on my real paper until I'm ready. So I'm going to practice printing and stamping some things to see how that works. So let me switch it around so you can see my table. All right. And you can see I've practiced a couple things on here with my little starfish. I practiced 2 different ways. I printed it with paint. So I stamped it in this pink paint and then stamped it over there. But I also did it with marker too. And I'm going to show you both of those ways so that you can decide what you want to do. So let me get a clean little space here. All right, and the first thing I want to do is I'm going to do it with a marker. So I'm going to just find a marker, and make sure you ask your parents before you go drawing on your toys, but they'll come right off. You can't use a Sharpie marker. You have to use a water-soluble marker, just like a regular marker like this. And then I'm going to color the edge pretty quickly because it's going to dry out. So I'm going to color the edge all the way around, and you can do just about any color. And then I can just stamp it, but what I've found out is if I get the paper a little bit wet, so I'm going to use my little sponge, or you can just use a paper towel and get it just a teensy bit wet, just a little bit, not a lot. And I'm going to wipe my paper so my paper is wet in that spot. And then I'm going to stamp it on there, press down, press down, press down, and then pull it up, and it will make a stamp on there. Let's say I want to switch colors. I need to get that blue off, so I can just take my paper towel or my sponge and just wipe that marker off. And then I can go to my next thing. So that worked out pretty good. I'm going to try to stamp with a, let's try a Lego. Lego seemed to work pretty good. So here's my Lego. I'm going to do blue again. I'm going to go around the edge. I'm going to go ahead and get my little spot on my paper wet. And then I'm going to push, 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 and then pull it up. And then I have a stamp of my Lego. And I can do the other side. So I can wipe this side off. Use my marker, and it might not even look like the marker's on there, but it is. So just rub it on there, make a wet spot, and then stamp it. And so I can make all those little things. Oh, and it kind of even made the little Lego symbol on there. All right, so the stamping with the marker is actually working pretty good. Let's test it with some paint and see which one I want to use. You can use what you want to use. I'm going to decide what I want to use. So now I have my plate of paint over here. I'm going to use my finger, and I'm just going to kind of spread my paint out a little bit because I need it big enough for my star to sit on there. All right, and that's why we have our paper towels. Do you hear that airplane going over the top? Oh my goodness, Miss Wall lives right next to the airport, so I hear airplanes all the time. All right, wipe my finger off on my napkin. Now I'm going to take my star, and I'm just going to just dip it in there. I don't have to press hard yet. I just want to get some paint on my star, like that. Then I'm going to stamp it on my paper. Now with this one, I don't need to get my paper wet because the paint is already wet. And then I pull it off, and then I have a stamp. All right. So go ahead and practice a couple different ones to see what you like best. I practiced on these. This one was this little Nerf gun thing. So that texture turned out really good. That stamp turned out good. This one did not turn out very good. I used this little guy, and I printed him, and he didn't work out very good. So I'm not going to use him. But I did print with this fork right here, and that turned out really good. For these orange ones, look, I found the Legos with the wheels on it, rolled it in the orange paint, and rolled it on the paper. That worked really good too. All right, so practice some different things. See if paint works better or if ketchup works better, or if markers work better for you. All right, and then come back. All right, did you practice? Did you find some good stuff? Awesome. So now we're ready for our next step. So now I'm going to pick just a couple things. I don't need all of my things. So I picked this pretty little leaf that's like in a heart shape that I picked out of my yard. I picked the fork. That worked really good. I was excited. I picked the wheels from the Lego. Those were awesome. And I picked that little Nerf gun thing. And so now I'm going to make a print, and I'm going to put mine in a pattern. Do you have to put yours in a pattern? Nope. You can do yours however you want to. I just want to do mine in a pattern. So I'm going to switch it back over so we can see what Miss Wall is doing and how I can make my print. So I've decided to use paint and these 4 objects. I can move my other stuff out of the way. Oh, sorry, Biscuit. And now I'm going to print. So the first thing I want to print is my tires. So I'm going to have my little Lego tires. I'm going to roll it in this paint. I don't have to push super hard, just a little bit. Roll it in my paint here. And then I'm going to roll it onto my paper. Oh, my paper got a little wet, so let me dry it off a little bit. All right, I'm going to roll it onto my paper to make some tire prints. Awesome, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to move this over to the side. Now I'm going to go with my next one. I think I'm going to use my Nerf gun bullet next. And I'm going to dip that in some paint. Remember, I don't need to dip a lot, just very gently. And I'm going to kind of dip it over here on the side a little bit to get some of that extra paint off. And then I can stamp it. What if I start running out of paint? Yep, come back over here, get some more paint. And I'm going to, ooh, that was a lot. And I'm going to print it all the way up. I'm going to re-squish that one. There we go, that's better. Re-squish it one more time. There we go. All right, that looks good. Set it to the side. Now my next one, I think I'm going to do my fork next. And I'm going to do this fork in some pink. So I'm going to just dip it in there, not too much. And make my lines going up a little bit more. And a little bit more. Okay, put that to the side. And then I'm going to use my pretty little leaf that I found, and I'm going to dip that probably in this yellow right here. And I'm going to kind of squish it over here to the side because I don't need all that paint. I just need a little bit. Then I'm going to press it. Now on this one, I actually do have to press pretty good. Oh, let me press it one more time. I didn't get it all the way. Okay, then I can dip it in the yellow again. Press it on the paper again. Dip it in the yellow. Keep going up and up and up. And since I'm making a pattern, and I did orange, green, pink, yellow, now it's not a pattern right now because it's not repeating across. So what do I need to do to make it into a pattern? You don't have to do a pattern, but I'm going to do one. So what do I need to do? Oh, the airplane says that I need to repeat it. So if I did orange, green, purple, yellow, and I want to repeat my pattern, what would I do next? Very good. I would do my orange again. So I'm going to grab my little Lego with the wheels, roll it through my orange paint, go up. Uh-oh, that's up a little bit. That's okay. There we go. Move it to the side. All right, I did orange, green, pink, yellow, orange. What comes next? Green. Very good. So let me grab my Nerf bullet here, dab it in the paint, and squish it going up. Let me get a little bit more off of that one. And if my paper was big enough, I could keep going. I could repeat it again and again and again. You do not have to do a pattern. It is up to you. You can do it however you want to. And remember, when these things are done, I'm going to want to wash them off because I don't want the paint to stick to them. I like doing my art outside because Miss Wall makes a big mess, but you can make yours however you want to. All right, and let's take a closer look at our artwork. That's pretty good. So I'm going to set that to the side, and I'm going to place some more, and I'm going to make lots and lots of prints. So you do that, and then come back. And that's it. So make some prints, and if you want to share it with me, you can just put it on Dojo and I'll take a look at it. And remember, a print is a copy. All right, and I'll see you next week for another fun episode of Art with Miss Swan. All right, bye guys. Love ya. Miss you so much.